coffee, got my dog. Kids are still sleeping. We're heading down to the beach. We are sogging in this morning. Lazy morning. We did hike down to the beach earlier, but we're in Pacific City, Oregon. It's a bit of a foggy day. It's the middle of the day, so not the best photography time, but we are going to go on an adventure to see what we can find. I kind of was scanning the maps and I found this place called Upton Falls. Maybe there'll be something interesting to go back to, or maybe it'll actually not be bad lighting or whatever. But you don't know until you try. So we're just gonna go up there and see what we can find. Because Sophie has her driver's permit and needs to practice, we're gonna let her drive this shift up to the falls. Well, we found a waterfall, but it turns out this was not the Upton Falls we were thinking of. That was really hard to see from the road, so we totally missed it. But this falls was still interesting. Look at this. It's another waterfall with a fish ladder. This would be nice, but the lighting's just not very good for photography. I might put an ND filter on and try anyway. Okay, so I've got my polarizer and ND filters trying to make it dark enough to do a long exposure, but the lighting's just terrible. Too many bright spots and dark spots. It's just not going to turn out. But still, this is a great spot. Maybe we'll come back on a cloudy day or in the evening sometime. There's salmon have already spawned. There's proof. We decided to head back to the beach, hoping that the sun came out. It was lunchtime anyway. Okay, so we went and explored the waterfall. The sun came out. We decided, you know what, let's just go spend some time at the beach, have a family day at the beach. Beautiful day, beautiful, cool October day. So the fog has finally lifted. The family was feeling like camping a little bit, so I went down by myself about a mile from our campground to the north end of Cape Kiwanda. I'm gonna try to get some good sunset pictures tonight at the north end of the Cape. I have no idea what I'm gonna find, but let's go see. Okay, this is an amazing spot. I absolutely love it here. The lighting is great. There's just enough fog to give the light rays some hope. You can actually see them. The problem is my subject is very bright and the foreground is very dark, so I'm taking and bracketing photos with about a stop between each one, and I'll probably have to do some HDR work back home at the computer so I can see the foreground and the background. I think the tide's coming in and I'm out on these rocks. I gotta skedaddle or I'm gonna get stuck here for a while. Here goes, whoops. Okay, water's going down. I'll leap just in time. Woo. Nice. Yeah, I love Pacific City. I love this place. Pretty lucky that the weather held out. It's the middle of October. This is usually when the storms start rolling off the coast and hammering us and pinning us down for the whole winter. Not today. It's beautiful. I did lots of experimentation down there. I didn't video all of it, but I tried all kinds of different shutter speeds and filters and apertures, looking for different depth of field. I experiment a lot, and then I go back later and then I look to see what worked and what didn't work, and I adjust as needed. It's a perfect time to do that. Now I'm pretty lucky. I get to walk back. It's less than a mile back to my campground, and there's hot spaghetti dinner waiting for me. Beautiful night. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks everybody for watching my video. Hi everybody, I was going to end the video last night just before we went to bed around the fire, but it turned out to be such an interesting night that I wanted to share one more story that I didn't catch on film, obviously. But in the middle of the night, about 2 in the morning, my wife heard the raccoons trying to take off with the dog food that we had left outside. So she got up to go get it from them and put it away, and they wouldn't give it back to her. They said, "This is ours, you come get it." So she came and got me for help, and I found myself after 2 in the morning in my boxer briefs and a broomstick for a sword, thrusting and parrying with these raccoons, trying to get our dog food back. And eventually, after a little convincing, they turned it over and let me have it. So that was an exciting night and something I thought I would share. It was not something we had planned on, and I wish we would have put the dog food away before we went to bed, but it was good. Okay, I've got the pictures dumped off the camera and onto my computer, and I've had a chance to play around with them a little bit. As you can expect, this picture I took in the daylight is not that great. I knew it wasn't going to be. It was just too many dark areas and bright areas and too busy. I like to have a very simple picture. This is a very busy picture. The only thing that I found that made it at all interesting was the sun flare that my lens caught as I took the picture. The sun flare does add a little bit, but overall, I won't be saving this picture. It's not that great. Okay, I like this picture a lot better. This was as the sun was setting. I just saw a seagull sitting on a rock. Nothing special, but I kind of accidentally caught this one. I went over, zoomed in with my telephoto, and snapped the photo. Again, I had a little bit of a sun flare. I accentuated that in post-processing to make it a little more exciting. The seagull, though, is my subject and makes for an interesting photo. Yeah, this one is basic, but I was surprised. I found out that I liked it. Okay, this one was a little more trouble. I was explaining that I was having trouble with the subject, the monolithic rock there being very bright when the foreground rocks were very dark. I did some HDR work, and that didn't help a whole bunch. So I really had to push the light areas and pull up the dark areas more than probably was natural. I should have done a better job when I took the photo. The picture is okay. It's not terrible. The fact that I have no color in the subject rock is a disappointment. I do like the details and the dynamic contrast in the rock foreground, and the water has a lot of detail. There is no detail in my subject, and that is a complication from the lighting situation that I had. Okay, so I took the last picture and I tried a similar shot in black and white. And in the black and white color scheme, I was able to actually get more detail. So I stayed with black and white, and it makes for a very striking picture. It's a much better, more visually enjoyable to look at. So I think this one I would keep as a black and white. And the advantage of the black and white is I was able to preserve some detail and give it a mood that the color photo just didn't cut it. Okay, this is another one of those accidental good pictures. I wound up taking a lot of pictures that night, and a lot of them didn't turn out at all. But this one, I just happened to catch the sun as it was going behind the fog bank, and it left me a nice starburst and a sunset color. It was one of those ones that I wish I had planned for, but I was just the right place at the right time and saw it with my eye, took out my camera and grabbed it. I have no complaints. My final picture that I was happy with is this one of the monolithic rock taken. It was a lot darker than the picture shows you, and as you can tell by looking at the ocean, it was a long exposure. I think this one was 18 seconds in length, so that's why the ocean is washed out. But that long exposure allowed the colors to be pulled out. Also, because the sun had actually set at this point and was kind of behind the horizon, even though the clouds were still lit, the rocks were more closely lit as far as brightness goes. And for that reason, I was able to get my subject and my foreground more equal light balance. So that worked out really, really good. And then, of course, the colors of the sunset just made it also very interesting. I enjoy this picture. I'll definitely be keeping this one. I had a lot of photos that were, average, that were good. But I think my favorite part about this photo shoot was just being there. It was just such a beautiful night. And the weather was great. And everybody was happy. My family was happy. I was happy. It was just a good night for taking photos. And that's the last one I'm going to share. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I'll try to get out there and get some more, as I think we all should. It's a good hobby to have.